Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM, you're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Heather Alto with the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
And I'm Mike Norfield with Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
I probably sound confused for a second.
Is it afternoon?
No. I'm going to tell you why I'm confused. And honestly, this has been playing like every single Wednesday for, years, months, whatever. But I just noticed we need to redo our intro.
Yeah, we do.
Because it says coming to you live from Watts Creative Studios.
It does. Good catch.
And we are not. We are
We're
Media
not.
Squatch
Media
now.
Squatch.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't really kind of kicked into that until today when I was truly listening. I was jamming.
I figured the lead time was like a year.
Yeah, well, it takes that long to
Adding
get.
me as the host took a year.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Allegedly.
Maybe that's what it is.
I haven't gotten to say that in a while.
Yeah, that editing department just likes to take their time.
I know, right?
Yeah. So in case y'all were confused like me this morning, we're coming at you from Media Squatch here in Bedford, Virginia.
Yeah.
And, we hope that you are listening to us on Grove Street FM. And if you are, make sure, if this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you're a, long-time listener, thanks for tuning in again. Make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button.
Yeah.
The notification bell. Leave a comment, do all the things, engage with us. That helps to boost our podcast in the rankings of, podcasts in all the world. There's so many. So we appreciate the fact that you chose to listen to us today.
That's right.
But just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Don't be confused. It's not Watts Creative Studios any longer. So welcome back, everyone. Last week we were talking about, Hurricane Helene that came through. Now we're facing an even bigger hurricane hitting Florida. Luckily, not coming up to the coast, not going to hit the Carolinas.
Yeah, but swinging around in
Virginia or Tennessee.
Tampa.
Yeah, but it's definitely gonna.
They're saying that the storm surge could be like 12 feet or something.
Yeah, I think I saw that 12 to
catastrophic.
12 to 50. Yeah, it's like a category 5 now as we speak. So again, prayers going out to anyone down in Florida. If you have loved ones down there, check in on them. If they've decided to stay, hopefully they've hunkered down and done all the things that they need to do. But we are, working with some of our local, just to kind of bring this up again, in case you didn't hear it last week, we are working to help with like some hurricane relief, sort of Freedom Heating and Air. They're taking supplies down there. So we're serving as a drop-off spot for anyone who wants to bring by waters or, perishable, non-perishable food, anything like that we can give to them and use. And then also we're doing a blood drive at the end of this month with Carillion, and we're going to be hosting that at the Business Development Center on the 25th. So people can come and give blood. It's in short supply, so anytime that you can donate, that's good. Fun fact about that is, if you come and you donate blood, you actually get a gift certificate. I think it's like a $45 gift certificate for coming and donating blood.
Hey.
But also, we got to choose a nonprofit where for everyone who comes and donates, they actually give back, I think it's $15 for everyone who donates. So we got to choose a nonprofit. And, if you listened in last week, we're doing a membership drive this month, where you can join our organization for $120. And $10 of that is going to Gleaning for the World. We're giving to Gleaning for the World so that they can to help with that. So it just made sense to make Gleaning for the World the recipient of
especially with everything going on
as well. So we have 2 ways that you can help us.
And that $10 that's going to the nonprofit is actually going to be matched by Visiting Angels. So.
That's right. Visiting Angels is matching
up to a certain amount.
Up to a certain amount. So yeah, we're just trying to do what we can. It's a small part, but it's a good way to become a member. If you've been listening in and you're a business owner and you're like, oh, I really wanted to join. Well, this is a great way to do it. We're celebrating our 120 years as an organization. So for that, we're doing a $120 membership for the month of October.
It's a great deal.
And donating. So it is a fabulous deal. So yeah, we're excited for that. Just trying to give back wherever we can. Quick updates, and then we'll get to our guest today. We have a lot going on in October, not a lot of major things, but a lot of smaller coffee talks coming up. We'll be at Flute's Wine Shop at the end of this month for our Lynchburg Coffee Talk on the 25th, I believe. I think. If you're not there, it's 25th. Then we also have our Appomattox Coffee Talk. That'll be, I think we're doing that at Appomattox and in Sweets again this time. So a lot of small things. We have a ribbon cutting tomorrow. And we're actually going to be talking about that today a little bit. But we are going to be at VitaPath here in Bedford, new business that has opened. And we're going to actually learn more about them on the show today. So we're excited for that. But come by at 11. We will be there to cut a ribbon and people can, learn a little bit more, meet the owners, things like that. And then, the biggest thing coming up I know it's October and people are thinking Halloween, but Christmas parades. So
they're coming.
Christmas parades are coming. Bedford's is December the 7th. Lynchburg's is December the 8th. And applications are open. And you want to go ahead and do them now because we close applications November the 18th. So that gives us time to get everything set and ready
About
to go.
2 or 3 weeks only to get it set up. It comes
So
quick.
you gotta get those applications in. Don't wait on it. Because after the 18th, we're not going to be able to get you in. So, it is what it is. But yeah, you got anything going on? Anything important?
No, not really. Just
in your life, doing
every day-to-day things. It's been great.
Just busy. We got to hear from your new employee last week, which was fun.
She was really excited. Especially after, because she was nervous during, but she did a great job, I think.
I always tell people, don't be nervous. We're so much fun.
Well, she also
we just laid back and go with the flow.
What I think is funny is she'd never heard the podcast before, so she didn't even know what we were gonna do, things like that. And then it was it was last week, so it was like her 9th or 10th day working for Visiting Angels. Mm-hmm. So she was just thrown off the deep end, which she's known about us for a long time because we've been referral partners at her previous employer, but. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she did really well, answering all the questions and stuff and talking about what we were in our culture and making everybody cry, all that good stuff.
Shout out to the Blue Lady.
Yeah.
In Bedford and Ippolito.
Maple cookies today.
I'm eating maple cookies that I picked up there before I came down here. I had to run by and pick up. So some people don't know this, but the Blue Lady actually donates all of the ribbons that we use for our ribbon cuttings. They donate them to local businesses. He does all of them for us, and we greatly appreciate it. So I ran by there to get my ribbon for tomorrow. And saw that he had his maple cookies, which I just love them. So I bought almost every one he had. So sorry if you were looking for maple cookies here with me, because they're delicious. So.
Well, I guess I won't have their next.
Yeah. No.
Since I know they're all gone.
Yeah, the maple cookies are gone. But there's a plethora of other items that you can get there that are delicious. So, so with that, we're going to head on over to our first guest today. I wanted to have Tim on the show, especially since we are going to be doing a ribbon cutting tomorrow at, VitaPath. And I was excited, but that's not the only business that you are involved with. Yeah. And so I thought this would be a great way to kind of talk to you about all the things that you do. You are one busy person.
Yeah. I was actually a little late getting here because of all sorts of stuff, back-to-back meetings and all that.
Yeah. Well, I was actually shocked when I messaged you last minute. I was like, hey, can you be on the show? I was waiting for you to be like, well, I'm super booked this week. But then when you said you could, I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I had an hour and a half to where I can literally slide it in and say, hey, this fills the gap.
That's great. So I guess let's just start off. I want to introduce you. This is Tim. He's with BlueSummit. But like I said, lots of other things. Kind of tell us more about yourself and then maybe about the different business.
Well, first off, it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm super excited to be a part of the pod. Kind of explain my entrepreneurial journey a little bit. So I'm just recently transitioned out of more of an operation role from CEO of BlueSummit Medical Group, which is a regionally based home health and hospice provider, as well as private duty nursing. In Tennessee, Ohio, and here in Central Virginia. We cover the whole state. We're actually just getting ready to launch into Roanoke for our hospice division, which we're super excited about. We just got certification today.
Congrats.
So we are super pumped. Our whole executive team there in the Forest office is just elated right now. So we're really excited. BlueSummit, obviously we're a regionally based home health and a hospice provider. Just as you mentioned, VitaPath. VitaPath is something that's kind of, in a way, spawned out of BlueSummit. It's not necessarily an affiliation or a subsidiary, but It's a sister company. And VitaPath, most people see these wheelchair vans just kind of rolling around.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are less than desirable.
Right. Missing hubcaps. All that
missing
stuff.
hubcaps, you know, just kind of on its last leg, that kind of thing. One of the things, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, you know, just how many people miss their wellness visits, right?
Right.
You know, whether it be dental appointments, which can obviously lead to huge problems in the elderly community, all the way to dialysis appointments. And that's one of my pain points is being a steward of my community, which is what I truly believe is BlueSummit is here to exist to care for those who can't care for themselves. Right. Mm-hmm. You know, with the growing population, especially with the baby boomer population, with this oncoming quote unquote silver tsunami, it's not a problem that's going to go away fast. And let's be honest, no one wants to be in a nursing home. Mm-hmm. You know, yes, there are times and places and things of that nature, but people age better in place. So that being said, you know,
I agree 100%.
Absolutely. People age better in place.
Yeah.
Regardless of where they are within their healthcare journey. So VitaPath, there are some, I don't mean to say that there aren't any good wheelchair, non-emergency medical transport. The problem is they're so few and far between to where they are just inundated, right? Wheelchair vans are insanely expensive, you know, 20, 30, 40,000 for the lowest level. They can range up to $100,000 for a minivan. This being said, most communities don't have that ability to be able to sustain that kind of thing.
Right.
So one of the things I said, and whenever I say, well, somebody's got to do something, well, that's wonderful. I get to do it, right? So here we are, VitaPath, me and a handful of family members said, you know, Bedford really needs this. Even with talking with the EMS department, they get calls, at least 20 calls a week stating, hey, we need help. I can't get to an appointment. I know with my own organization, BlueSummit, same kind of deal. You know, our patients are, you know, we'll call them up and say, hey, we noticed that you didn't make it to your doctor's appointment. Everything okay? Oh, yeah. I just wasn't able to get connected. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate because here we are, you know, attempting to make sure these patients and clients are well taken care of in our community.
Right.
And it's not happening. So VitaPath essentially kind of spawned out of that, is out of necessity to say, hey, let's serve Bedford, Roanoke, and Lynchburg very well. And so far we've seen just a tremendous outcry, not only from the community, but from a lot of these, you know, ALFs or assisted living facilities and nursing homes and things of that nature, because it's a need.
Right. And a lot of times the transportation isn't reliable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned seeing the vans everywhere. So I see them everywhere because I'm kind of looking like that's my brain is kind of programmed to look for that kind of thing. Right? So because of what we do. And, you know, you see the vans, but you never see anyone like, oh, hey, I'm the one that's doing this. And they, you know, any business you should be marketing at least to, like, we go and talk to our peers. Debbie from your office comes in our office every 2 weeks, something like that. So like you should be reaching out to and finding people to partner with.
Correct.
And I haven't heard from anybody in like 8 years. Yeah. Right. We've been doing this 8 years. I haven't heard anything. And so to go somewhere and see Matt, it's like, oh, hey, how are you? And then I've been telling everybody like, hey, this guy, that they do transportation, but you've actually got somebody that you can see, you know, they're insured, licensed, all that sort of stuff. The vans are good and you can actually talk to him, right? You're not 100%. Just picking up the phone and hoping you get somebody that is going to be organized and good and show up on time.
Well, let's be honest. I don't mean to go down this pathway, but somebody who actually speaks English well, you know, you've got a lot of elderly folks. And a lot of them can't understand dialects and things. And not that that's a bad thing, but let's be honest, it's the community that we serve.
Right.
So to be able to do incredibly excellent things at what you do, something that sets VitaPath apart. You know, I love the concept of first class, right? You know, when you go into an airplane, the last thing you really want to be is coach. Right. Let's be honest.
Right.
So VitaPath, one of the things that I set forward is say, let's make it a good experience, right? So, you know, if Mrs. Smith, you know, goes to dialysis, one of the things that our drivers are trained to do is to make sure that they're well taken care of in and out, from start to finish, transport, back, and during. So a lot of these times they'll be sitting in a dialysis room for three hours. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I like to eat. So come lunchtime, or let's say you missed lunchtime, well, most drivers aren't going to say, hey, let's swing by McDonald's, right? Our drivers are equipped to be able to say, okay, we have this prep packet. We have these snacks here in the vehicle. We have these drinks, to be able to say, hey, it's just a simple thing to be able to say, hey, I know you were in a very long dialysis appointment. Pick whatever you want, take some water, take your sugar low. Here's a cookie. It's those little kind of things that no one else is doing. Right. They just treat it as a vendor.
Right.
I'm just going back and forth like a taxi, only with a wheelchair. We're not that way. Nor should people expect that. It's my grandmother doing this, right? It's
right.
My grandfather, it's my aunt, it's my uncle, it's my mom. I want to make sure that if I'm in California, my mom's being taken care of in Bedford, regardless of who's doing it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's those little attention to detail that can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And just let's look at it from the practical side, right? For the company, the cost, like bottle of water, like what, 12 cents?
Yeah.
Like, and then snacks and things like that, like $1 or $2. Like, yeah. But it makes the experience so much better.
It does.
It makes them want to use you over and over again. So but it's those little things that people don't typically think of.
Yeah. One of my friends, he's in Texas, and he started this. I wouldn't call it a glamping. It's more of a like a lodge kind of situation, to where he's got 7 different things, and he recently sold it to a private equity firm. And one of the things he encouraged me to do is to sweat the details. The little things that matter to not only your customers, your clients, your patients. We're talking business here, right? To the audience, that's my encouragement is, hey, sweat the details. If you want to be different in your business, sweat the details.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's the little things. An example is we leave handwritten notes as thank yous, right? Yeah. And that sounds silly, right?
Right.
But it's a handwritten note with their name on it saying, we value you. We genuinely value you. We genuinely enjoyed our conversation. Hope your daughter's doing well after her surgery. Thank you for what you do. Sweat the details, because the details are what matter.
Yeah. So we're the same kind of way. Like,
yeah.
And, it's funny you said about the handwritten note, because like if we have a client and they go to the hospital, or they're sick, or even a caregiver, they're sick, miss a day of work because they're sick, something like that, we send them a note and say, hey, hope you feel better. And you'd be surprised the impact that has. So when Tiana, that was here last week, when she was hired, we send out to all of our new employees, like, hey, welcome to the team. We're so glad to have you. She carries hers in her purse.
Yeah. I love
and shows it to people.
Yeah.
Right. Because we went to a meeting yesterday. We went with the Visiting Angels in Roanoke yesterday.
Yeah.
And she was like, literally, like, it has an impact. And she reached and pulled it out of her purse. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like,
well, it's almost a culture, right?
Right. 100%.
An example of what we do is our administrator. We have a new administrator in our Northern Virginia, BlueSummit Nova, there in Fairfax, in the Fair Oaks area. And she came from a very large home health provider, skilled home health provider, one of the big box guys, right?
Yeah.
And she's used to this whole corporate atmosphere,
mm-hmm.
and we don't have that, right? We're me and my 2 other business partners. We're 3 good old boys. We call ourselves the 3 amigos. We're 3 good old boys from Virginia that started a company with a broken down laptop at my, on my sofa, right? And we developed this thing to, 3, hopefully, fingers crossed, going on 4 states. And one of the things we did and continue to do for each and every one of our administrators that I don't think I've ever talked about, but when we hire somebody that is a leadership level over these organizations, over these branches, we immediately, of course, do the handwritten letter, right? We find out something a little bit about their spouse or their significant other. But the other thing is right before they start, we send them a bundle of flowers saying, hey, and we do that for not for everyone. It might be, if it's a male, we'll send them, tickets for golf or something like that. But something to where, it doesn't really cost a ton, but the value that person sees of a thank you, we genuinely value you as a person, not as a production value.
Right.
We value you as a person. Kathy, who's our administrator up there, she called me crying, literally saying, I've never had somebody do this. And yes, that feels good, but it also tells me how everyone else is acting in our economy. It's all about the bottom line, all about, production. And yes, none of us run charities. Am I right? Of saying, hey, we do have to be profitable as a business, but it's how we do it, right? It's not necessarily what we're doing. Yes, we take care of people, but along the way, it's a journey, and we can enjoy the view. We don't have to constantly keep our head down trying to figure out exactly where we're going. Let's stop and enjoy the view and enjoy the people around us.
Yeah. And so from the very beginning, I've kind of had that we're very similar people. And every time we talk, we kind of find that out a little bit.
I'm just sitting back here eating my cookie.
Right. But
you want to be friends? No.
I thought we already were.
Right.
It's like the Will.
I'm not giving you my bracellet then. I'm keeping it, my little Taylor Swift bracelet, but we, so when we first opened, I always ask people when we bring them on, especially when they're working in the office, what's important to you?
Yeah.
And I had one of my previous, she's still employed with me. One of my employees say, whenever I needed a printer cartridge for the printer, they never had one in stock, and then they had to order it, and it takes forever to come in.
Oh yeah.
And so we couldn't print for a week. So guess what we do? Our standard practice is we make sure we got color printers, all that. We have one of everything sitting on the shelf, and put one in yesterday and used it up. So I ordered a new one today. And then also went around the office and is there anything you need from Staples, whatever.
Yeah.
And went around and got a list from everybody. Everybody needed something. And they were like, well, if you don't mind, I'd like this to make my job a little easier. Well, that's what I want to do.
Great.
But because that's important, that was important to that person. You find out what's important to them and you make sure that need never has to be addressed because you're kind of being proactive with it. It's
100%.
the same kind of thing, just learning a little, we have to work together. We spend, 40 hours a week together, whatever.
Yeah.
Or, you've got somebody that's remote, whatever, but they need to be able to know they can ask you for something and get it. So building that relationship and kind of learning about them a little bit makes a huge difference.
Well, and we're with each other sometimes more than we are our own families.
Right.
Right. And I know it's a stigma that goes around, oh, we're family. You can be.
Yeah.
Some organizations use it as a ploy, right? Oh, we're all family here. Let's be honest, we're not.
Yeah. I always talk about team. I forbid everybody in my office from saying we're a family. No, we're a team.
Yeah, we're
a team. Because at the end of the day, we go home to our families.
Correct.
And that's why we're at work.
Absolutely.
So let's make sure that the work we're doing allows us to still be with that family.
100%.
Right.
We're all a team in this. We all provide. And one of my administrators says, because someone who exited our organization recently said, "Oh, we're just not a family." And one of my administrators said, "Well, there's certain family members in my family that I just don't like."
Right.
Right. And I started laughing. I'm like, isn't that the truth? But here's the thing: if we're a team, we get the stuff. We get everything done.
Right.
And we're all on the same page. We're positive. We move forward. Yeah, there's going to be difficult times. Yeah, there's going to be difficult things. It's business. I haven't met a business yet that hasn't gone through a difficult situation.
Right.
That's life. That's business. But it's what you do. It's how you do it. It's starting from start to finish. That's why we call it BlueSummit and VitaPath, life path, right? BlueSummit is, the logo's inspired by the Peaks of Otter, just here in Bedford. Healthcare journey. You have these. Does anyone know what a Sherpa is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sherpa, yeah. So like when you're hiking Mount Everest, here you are on your pathway. Are you going to do it alone? No, you're going to die if you do it alone, right? It's not a wise thing. So BlueSummit, one of the things that we say is we're like the Sherpas. We've been there, we've done that. We know hospice, we know private duty nursing, we know skilled home care, PT, OT, speech therapy, all that kind of stuff. Your journey matters more than just getting there. It's how you get there.
Right.
Big boxes, yeah, they're great. It's not how you get there. It's, getting there. Do outcomes matter? 100%. The world we live in, especially the government breathing down our necks on clinical outcomes.
Right.
That's a whole different soapbox. But I think the big thing is, regardless of where they are in their clinical journey, whether it's a child in Tennessee in our peds division who mom and dad didn't know they were going to be born with spina bifida, and now they're scratching their heads wondering where their mom and dad are going to have to devote 24 hours of care constantly to this child.
Right.
Here we are to be able to come in and say, I have 3 nurses for you. Don't worry about the payment. We'll work out all the stuff with the state on the back end. All the way to the end of life hospice, to be able to say, hey, we're more than just a nurse coming in and helping. We've got pastors on staff. We've got social workers. If you need a will written, talk with our social worker. We're going to figure this out for you as a family, as a team on our end, to make sure that the healthcare journey is successful and you get to enjoy that beauty at the end.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. And I know that, both of you guys, and y'all are, if you've listened to the show, y'all are probably sitting going, well, Mike does, home health and Tim does home health. And I think it's great that we have you both on, because that kind of leads into what I say consistently about, there is no such thing as competition. You can work together. There is such thing as competition, but
it's healthy competition.
It's healthy competition. Yeah. And there are things, that's right, co-opetition.
Yeah.
But there are things that like BlueSummit does that Visiting Angels does not, that y'all actually have collaborated and worked together. So, people are probably sitting there thinking, oh, they're
they do
in
the same
direct
thing. Why are they getting along? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing of like, so if everybody that needed care, if we were all of a sudden the only company in Lynchburg, right? The Visiting Angels is it.
Yeah.
And everybody called our office, we wouldn't be able to take all of them.
Yeah.
Like we have to be able to refer to partners. And that's the secret that I feel like some companies in Lynchburg have figured out. Like I can't take everything. So if I get something and it's like, if we have 3 clients call us in one day, we're not going to be able to onboard them at the same rate and bring them all on. One of them is going to get pushed out a little farther and one kind of in the middle. And then, so it's basically like who calls us first and who can we staff first. And they're going to get the, so it's a whole lot easier to push them out to someone else. And because we always tell people, like, call us for anything. We'll be a resource. If we can't help you, we'll get you to somebody who will. And we're not just going to say, oh, hey, call this other company instead. We'll give you the phone number and who you need to talk to get care started, right?
Yeah, you need to talk with this person so that they can actually go ahead and initiate this and make sure you're successful.
It kind of leads into the whole, like, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And if you are trying so hard to get all the quantity, then steps are, steps are going to get 100%. Missed. You're
going to become a number, no longer a person.
Right. Yeah. And then people are going to go, oh, well, I went with such and such, but they were horrible to work with because they just rushed me, or they, they didn't care about me. And then you could end up losing more business than the one person you may have sent over to your quote unquote competitor, you know? So I think that's where I try and, tell people that you need to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and even to your point, Heather, you look at the rise and the falls of these companies that have done exactly just the opposite of what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I can think of, and for legal reasons, I won't spout out their names, but I can think of a handful of home healthcare companies over the past, 10 years that have gone from $100 million companies to now they're making $5 million and barely making payroll. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, what happened? Exactly what you're saying is they're just focused on the bottom line, that dollar bill, that let's just push through and make these things happen, visits, all this kind of stuff, where they're not focused on true clinical driven outcomes. Hey, Mr. James, Mr. Johnson, Mr. whoever, let's make sure that you are actually taken care of, not just that you're on a caseload.
Right. Yeah, you shouldn't just be part of a census. You should be part of getting the care you need.
100%. Regardless of what the need is, there's like I said, they're human beings.
Yes.
My son has special needs, and so we've been in and out of the system in lots of places, and sometimes he's a number. Yeah. And you can tell when he is a person,
you get it. Yeah.
And when he matters.
Correct.
And I have seen better outcomes at the facilities and places where my son is a person.
Correct.
Where he is not a number.
Yeah.
So it matters.
Yeah.
Secret guest voice that just entered the studio. Who knows who that is?
Yeah, Libby just texted me and was like, "Who's the mystery woman?"
Libby, tell me if you can figure it out.
If you can figure it out, I'll reward it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We'll make it fun. I'll reward. I won't say what the reward is because that gives it away.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah, we'll reward it. If they guess, we'll reward it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, what's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you for VitaPath or whatever you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we're very active on social media. VitaPathTransport.com, BlueSummitCare.com is both. We Google us, Facebook us, Instagram, whatever's necessary. All of our contact information's online.
Perfect.
So we have the ribbon cutting tomorrow at 11.
Yes.
For VitaPath. Where is that? What's the address for that?
It is 810 Blue Ridge Avenue, just right down here, about 4 blocks away, here in Bedford. Pretty close to where the Royal Farms is.
Yes. Oh, Royal Farms. Don't get me started with the chicken. Yeah. So we'll be doing that 11. So it's a great opportunity to come out. I always encourage people. I think people think, oh, it's a ribbon cutting. And yeah, sometimes it's a ribbon cutting and I just have the business there doing their ribbon cutting because it's fun. But a lot of times I love having members of the community come out and welcome the new business to our area. So whether you're a business member listening in, whether you're just in the community listening in, come out and celebrate with us tomorrow at 11. You may have been listening to this and go, oh, I'd like some more information about VitaPath. Come out because they will be there. You can talk to them and get more information.
We'll have cookies.
And we'll have cookies.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad I can't go. So I have a meeting tomorrow
I needed cookies.
at the same time, but Tiana from our office is coming.
Reschedule your meeting. That's how that happens.
I get a lot of cookies though. I eat too many cookies. So Tiana was like, what's our main focus when we do what's our free marketing that we do? And I was like, go to every ribbon cutting you can. Yeah. And she's like, she just looked at me like, what? I was like, I know it seems backwards. I was like, but you will learn about these other businesses. They get a chance to learn about you.
Yeah.
And then when somebody needs, personal care at home, they're going to think of, oh, Tiana from Busy Angels, right? Because you were there to support their ribbon cutting, whatever. It just kind of puts you out in front and things like that. So it's just good. It's good to support local business. I'm 100%. A huge believer in that. Well, but also there's some marketing benefit to it as well.
Yeah. And that's what I feel like all 4 of us sitting here at this table are very big on the relationship side of business as well. It's not just about, okay, here's my business. Let me throw out my business name and the doors are open and people are coming in and whatever. It doesn't work like that. No. You have to build those relationships, and going to events like ribbon cuttings or open houses basically shows that you care enough to come out and learn more about, that person. And 100%. So they're going to remember that and they're going to say, oh, they came to my ribbon cutting. Let me, reach out to them and before they go and Google somebody that they can do. Because you've already kind of made that first step. And I think that's
and when you're looking
about relationships all the time.
When you're looking into anything, like we just talked about the mat being places, you want to be able to go, all right, I know somebody here, so I feel a little more comfortable calling them than just picking somebody out of I'm going to age myself, so picking somebody out of the phone book, right? Or picking someone off Google. You want to make sure that you've got someone that you can talk to, and that what they're going to tell you is real.
100%. And Matt, he's our vice president of operations for VitaPath. I mean, even a VP title, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he plunges toilets.
Yeah.
Good to know.
It's. I think for us, it's a culture. It's look, when you go to these events, not what are you looking to get, but what value are you looking to provide? In the same way that, I'm here, yes, talking about BlueSummit, but if there's anyone on this podcast who's thinking, man, how could I do something like that? Maybe it might not be home health. Maybe it might not be hospice. Maybe it might not be something as sexy as a wheelchair van, but if there's something that these individuals are thinking, well, I want to do this. I want to do something. I want to serve my community well. I want to start a business. Let's talk, because I've been there. I've done that. I know some of those potholes. You guys do as well.
Right.
To be
a lot of them I found myself.
Yeah. School of Hard Knocks.
Process, right. Yeah.
So I've been walloped upside the head many times by business. And so my thing is for the people listening, don't be afraid to take that jump. Don't be afraid to take that risk. That's where some of the best companies come from, is to be able to say, hey, I'm going to take this jump. I'm going to take this risk, and I'm going to do it anyway. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times when you do it, just that physical action of doing it allows you to actually gain momentum.
Yep. Yeah. And I will say, do it with, what do you want to call it? A realistic approach.
Oh, 100%.
You know, I had one kid, he was like, hey, I want to start mowing. I want to do this. And he was like going on in this very idealized. And he's like, what's your best advice? I thought it was like, pony up. Yeah. And he goes, whoa, really? And I was like, yeah. I was like, what you're describing, you're looking at 80 to 100-hour weeks.
Correct.
I was like, if that's not what you want, don't go that route.
Yeah. Right.
And he was like, no one's ever told me that. He was like, thank you. And I was like, you have to have a realistic idea of what you're getting in.
Yeah, right. You sacrifice. You know, we were talking.
It's a great one.
Yeah,
but be prepared.
We were talking a little bit before the show. I have a wife, 6 kids.
Ooh.
It's not easy, right?
I'm glad you waited until he said 6 kids for that. Like,
well, the wife.
I have a wife.
Yeah,
I feel for you. I feel
some days, right? 6 kids, a farm. It's a therapeutic foster care farm.
Oh, that's cool.
And you know, all of these things I do with a focus. Mm-hmm. But I think the big thing for me is, what can I do to be an example for my community? Mm-hmm. What can I do to be the example for the lives that I touch? I've got a young man who works for me here at BlueSummit, Alan. And he if he's listening, he'd be like, nicest kid. He was project manager. He came to me, fresh out of the military. I mean, he's 23 years old. Great kid. Good head on his shoulders. Aged out foster kid. Mm-hmm. And he came to me and said, Tim, I don't know what you do, but I want to work for you. And I'm like, well, I don't really have a job for you. He's like, I don't care. I'll work for free. And I'm like, well, that's against labor law. But
we'll just call you an intern.
Right. We paid him a base minimum wage. He became my project manager. Heather, you probably see him coming in and out all the time.
I do.
Incredibly successful at what he does now. Mm-hmm. You know, he'll be the first to volunteer and say, "Hey, I'm headed up to Northern Virginia. Their internet's out. I've got this. I'm headed down to Johnson City, Tennessee. Looks like, you know, a couple of our patients lost their homes because of this whole situation. Yeah, terrible situation. He's down there. He started this company called Skyline Outdoors, which is a quintessential. It's an RV rental company. And he said, "Look, Tim, I want you to be a part of this, but I don't know where to start." I'm like, "Well, RV probably be good."
Helpful.
So, you know, me and him, we bought these handful of travel trailers, new. And by the way, it's a terrible time to do that because this is not the prime time. You know, no one's going and staying out in the campground. But you know, I'm a firm believer nothing happens for happenstance, right?
There's no coincidence.
Yeah, there's no coincidence. Here he is. All of a sudden, this tragedy happens, and FEMA contacts us saying, "Hey, I see you guys have multiple travel trailers." And he's like, "Yeah, we do." He drives them down. So he's got this little business going. But had he not actually taken that risk,
right,
and said, "Hey, maybe I need to do something with my life aside from just, you know, working over here at Berglund for $29,000 a year." Now he's well on his way to be financially sustainable and successful because he took that risk. Right. Now, was that a year and a half ago? Sure.
Yeah, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
But he took that leap. He took that risk. He learned from somebody experienced. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect.
None of us are.
But he learned from somebody experienced in the way of business, you know, SBA loans and, you know, what it is to fundraise and where you go and the legalities and the insurance and the, you know, all of the humdrum that everyone's like, well, where do I start? Mm-hmm. Partner with somebody.
Yep. But he's successful not just because of the leap of faith that he took, but because he had somebody like you who came alongside him and invested in him.
Correct.
I am a huge
And he did it.
Exactly.
Right? He did it.
Exactly.
He wanted it.
And
right.
I mean, I've preached multiple times on you have to invest in your staff.
Correct.
If you do, your staff are just as important, if not more important, than your clients. Because without your staff, there are no clients. There is no business.
Yeah.
You have to invest in them.
There isn't a week that goes by that somebody doesn't come in my office and say, I want to start a business. I'm like, but do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
we get that a lot.
And speaking of partnering, so how long have you been part of the CVABC? Because
about for BlueSummit about a year now.
Right?
Yeah, just about.
It actually, so yes, it'll be a year in December.
Okay.
And I know this because I had just hired Megan.
Yeah.
What, a week before you
I was
joined?
in the Vietnamese restaurant.
Yeah, and Megan
Which
had,
fantastic restaurant, by the way, for anyone.
Yeah.
if you need to find Tim. No, but yeah, he was over in the Vietnamese restaurant next door to our office, and she was over there with a friend having lunch, and she was talking about how much she liked the job and like what she does, and he was kind of listening in, and he came right over and was like, I need to join.
Right.
And I looked at Megan and I was like, I'm so glad I hired you. You're
It
fabulous.
was like her first or second day, right? Like
it was like within a week.
Yeah.
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 And
So that was awesome.
So what do you think that what's the biggest benefit of being part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
There's so many, if I'm being completely honest. To be able to be a part of a cohort, right? To be able to bounce ideas off of individuals that, even small businesses, it doesn't matter how big you are. You can be a middle market company like BlueSummit, all the way down to a single sole proprietor of whatever, right? A worm raiser. I don't care. You're going to provide value. And we're in especially this kind of economy, we're all better together, truly are all better together because, let's be honest, the government's not making it any easier to actually operate. Regulations are constantly getting thrown out and they aren't going away. That being said, I think the biggest value is being a part of a collective of individuals here in Virginia to be able to say, hey, let's march forward better together than separately.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The marketing's great. Yes. Being able to have billboards and things of that nature. It's wonderful, but you are the sum average of the company you keep. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
You surround yourself with individuals that don't really have a vision, aren't really doers. You're going to become that.
Right.
You surround yourself with individuals that do, that actually take massive action on what they're being called to do. Great. That's what you're going to be.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to say the same thing.
I'm going to cut to a quick commercial break just to irritate Heather because she likes to do that.
Okay.
And after that, we're going to come back and talk with Ashley a little bit as well.
Yes, which Libby did get it, by the way.
Did she?
She did. She's good. She's
good. Job, Libby. Chris texted me too. He's like, I didn't know you're going to be on the show. I was like, yeah, it was scheduled like yesterday at 3.
Yeah, I'm quick like that. So, so we'll be right back. Legacy Wealth Management was founded out of a desire to provide the best client service experience in the financial industry. After working for years in the traditional corporate investment,
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care, is now serving Lynchburg and the surrounding counties from their new location at 2201 Linghorn Road, providing our community with personal care services, including assistance with bathing, dressing, meal preparation, grocery shopping, light housekeeping, and much more. Our trained staff have to pass all of our requirements for a high standard of care, ensuring that you have a compassionate, kind, and qualified caregiver. Our office team works with you as a partner in providing care for you or your family member to make the task of starting and continuing care an easier process. At Visiting Angels, we understand that every individual is different. That's why our team of dedicated caregivers is committed to providing tailored assistance to make you happier and healthier at home. Call 434-439-4698 to learn more about our services and schedule a free in-home, no-obligation consultation. Trust Visiting Angels in Lynchburg to bring peace of mind to you and your loved ones.
Visiting Angels, America's Choice in Home Care.
I have other things.
So first of all, I would like to say, rude. Just because you don't like the commercial with the one I'm doing doesn't mean you have to cut to Mike.
Mike,
No, just kidding.
Mike told me to cut, so I was like, all right, I'm cutting.
No. That was an old commercial. So, of course, we had to cut it. However, if you are listening in and you're thinking, I would love to have our commercial play during the Talk Local to Me podcast, why are you not? $100 a month. It's very inexpensive. You can come in, you can record your own, or you can have Mike or myself host read your commercial for you. It's a great opportunity to get your name out. Not only are people hearing it here live, when we're here from 12 to 1, but then once this, is over, we're uploaded to wherever you get your podcasts. So, people are downloading. We have, what did you say, Woody? It's like a bajillion?
It's a bajillion.
Okay, I was just checking.
Yeah.
No, but I do know you threw out some pretty good numbers last week when we were talking about it.
Oh, yeah. Between that and the app, it's unreal. Like we're running banner ads now, and they're almost doubling every week and a half of the impressions.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
It's got a lot of traffic.
So I mean, seriously, $100 a month, or because we have it coming from Watts Creative Studios, which is not where we're supposed to be right now. For $250 a month, we could be coming to you from the
BlueSummit Studios.
BlueSummit Studios.
Don't spend my money, spend his money.
Okay, got you. But lots of opportunities to get your name out.
More, it's fine. Yeah. It's what working capital.
I mean, we could just partner and just make it the Visiting Angels BlueSummit or the BlueSummit Visiting Angels.
Blue Angels.
The Blue Angels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like
the Blue Angel Studio.
Pretty sure that's
not
allowed.
It's government. It's fine.
We probably get sued. It's fine. Yeah.
Yes. But contact us if you're interested. We'd love to. I mean, personally, I'd love to hear anything. No, I'm just kidding. I've been listening to Visiting Angels. I'm just joking. I had to throw it out there.
If I wasn't tired of hearing it too, that would have hurt my feelings.
I got 5 seconds of my voice before y'all said, like, let's not listen to Heather anymore. No, I'm just kidding. So, we are. We're back. We've got another guest in the studio with us today, and she's been on before.
Yep.
She's no stranger to being on the podcast, nor are we a stranger to the goodies that she provides us all the time. But we've got Ashley Beasley here with us with Sweet Indulgence Bakery. How are you?
I am okay.
You are.
I'm
okay.
here.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
it's actually been a good week so far. So
that's
okay.
Good.
Yeah, this has been the first really good week we've had in a really long time.
Yeah, everything worked when you went in today and all that stuff, right?
Knock on wood. Yeah. Shut up, Mike. You're gonna jinx it. Stop talking.
So you've had quite the adventure over the last couple of months, but like we talked about, like you're going to hit potholes and things like that. Some you can avoid and some you can't, right? Some, when the main piece of equipment you need to do your business doesn't work, it's like, what do I do?
That main piece of equipment is still down again. Oh. No. But it's okay because we have 2 backup pieces that became my main piece.
Perfect.
So that's okay. That's why we bought the double oven. It's like, I'm done with you.
Right.
So then we bought the new oven so that when the oven went down again. And the thing is, like, someone is like, why don't you just get rid of it? And I'm like, because the sum of the parts to fix it does not outweigh the cost of a brand new oven. That brand new oven is $15,000 to fix it. I've only poured in $1,000. I've got about $1,000 more to pour into it. That's what I can buy a used oven for about $3,000. So why not just take a perfectly good oven and replace the parts? This oven has been, I think it was manufactured in 2012. This is the first time it's had any issues.
Right.
And we use and abuse that thing. So it's, it in my book, it's made its money. It's worth it. I don't mind fixing it.
Fully depreciated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we tell her she looks pretty and try to get it working. Look, we have conversations with our equipment a lot.
Flatter.
Right.
Yeah. We got to flatter the equipment, make sure it works right.
Awesome.
It works.
So for somebody who might not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I am Ashley Beasley. That's already been established, but I own Sweet Indulgence Bakery. And if you haven't heard of us, that's kind of by design. I know that's backwards, but so our main mission with our company is we are a for-profit company, but we operate as a nonprofit company, kind of, and we employ trauma survivors. So that is our main mission. Not all of our staff are trauma survivors. I am a domestic violence survivor, so that's where that comes from. And it is when I was going through that period after I had left and I was homeless and I didn't have a place to live and I was with my 2 young kids and I eventually did get a job. It was really hard and there were a lot of things within the workforce that just weren't accommodated to what trauma survivors needed mentally, emotionally, or physically, but also to working parents. And so like one thing that sets us apart that I really love and my staff loves is our kids room. Mm-hmm. I think half my staff has kids and they all bring my kids will be there this week. So because fall break is Thursday, Friday. So I let them know today. I was like, hey guys, the chaos is going to be here on Thursday. So.
Right.
I'm going to drop my 13-year-old off with you on Friday. Hey,
I'll put her to work. We got dishes that need done. So
yeah. That would be great.
Yeah. And it's great. And so it's like we were talking about before, like the little things that you can do for your employees and things, and being able to have that where they might not have daycare, but their child's old enough to kind of play in it. And it's a little secure lock.
Yep.
Like you can still see them, half wall, all that.
Yep.
And it's great because they can be safe, but they can come to work and they can still work, and they may have to go over and check on them.
Yeah.
Things like that. But like, that's a whole lot better than somebody just saying, I can't come today because I don't have daycare.
Yeah.
Because I get that call.
And we account for that in the production time too. It's, if I think it's going to take me an hour to do it, I account for someone else to take about an hour and a half if I know they're going to have their kids there, because you need to account for the time to tend to their children. Because at the end of the day, if my staff is spread so thin because they're trying to provide but also parent, they're not going to be able to give their all to my company or their family. There's options and there's ways where you can support them, like it's, invest in your staff, and we try to invest beyond that physical need too. I'm very passionate about educating my staff as well. And so it's not like, oh, here's a recipe and let's just do it. We make an Italian buttercream, so we're a little bit different than the other bakeries in the area. But when we train someone to make the Italian buttercream, it's like, oh, this is why it has to be at this temperature. And this is why it takes this long to pour that in, and why we do it. Because if they understand the scientific process, one, they're less likely to cut corners and ruin my buttercream. I will get angry if my buttercream gets ruined.
Right. And you don't want them to think like, oh, this could be done a whole lot quicker. Why do I have to like pour this in so slowly? But there's a reason.
There is.
Right.
Yep.
So it makes a huge difference. So it's funny because, Sheena's also a baker, that, but I'm just saying that just for whoever doesn't know. And like she'll make a new cookie or something, and she'll make it a couple times, and every time it's a little bit different. And she's like, oh, I have to wait and let this sit, got to freeze it overnight, whatever. And it comes out a lot better, things like that. So
those little things matter. And then it's really cool to see the staff get super excited about it too, because they do get invested in it. It's like, oh, well, that's really cool how this works out and how that, why that works that way.
Especially if you're making something that no one else does.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I mean, a lot of people make raspberry oat bars, but I'm no longer the Pop-Tart enthusiast. It's now the raspberry oat bar. Just FYI.
Oh, I haven't had.
I got one of those at Centerfest. Oh my gosh, it's
I got
so good.
the pizza.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I didn't get to try that yet.
That was good.
Yeah, see, those didn't sell as well as I thought they would. I guess Bedford's not for the savory stuff, so we just didn't do it, and we just won't do it again.
I don't know, but I liked them.
I tell you what, though, they tore up those salted caramel pretzel bars and the s'mores bars. They tore those up. So those will actually, well, the salted caramel won't be, but the s'mores bar was actually being made when I left the shop today to go to market this week. So if you want one of those, go to market and get one.
Yeah.
Good.
And they look good. I don't like s'more stuff, or marshmallow to be more specific, but they look really good. So
they're pretty tasty.
Yeah.
But I'm biased, so I don't know if my opinion matters.
Yeah, right. Well, it does a little bit, because I mean, you've eaten a lot of baked goods and things like that, so you know what's good and what's not.
I'm not going to put it out if I don't believe in my product.
Right. When you see it come out of the oven, you're not like, ooh, you're not going to sell it.
Yeah. If my staff and I, when we're making this and we're not all talking about how excited we are to eat the scraps, then we don't need to be making it.
Right.
That's like the thing right now is like, hey, where's that tray of scraps? And why is there not a tray of scraps? Because all the scraps go in a tray and we all just kind of pick from it all day long. And it's just,
right.
I need to find out when scrap day is. I'll just show up like, hey.
Thursdays and Fridays.
I need to come over.
You're going to have a line of clinicians out the door.
So when you need dishes washed, just text Heather and be like, hey, it's scrap day.
Yeah, there you go.
Just call me. I'll taste this.
Doesn't even matter if you have scraps or not. Just text her. See if she shows up. So
yeah. So, but I'm very passionate about a lot of different things, but I'm very passionate about my staff, and I'm grateful for my staff and our clientele, like we said, it's even with a bakery, my clients to me are more than just money in my pocket. Without my clients, I couldn't pay my staff. I couldn't keep, if we would have closed our doors in July, we were looking at closing. I actually went through the steps of like, what
do I have to do?
Yep.
Yeah. I looked at closing my doors.
And that's a tough place to be.
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
It is.
Because it was like, all right, but and it was a lot of prayer, like, Lord, is it time to close? And he made it very clear it wasn't. And he was making things happen. And the big thing that spoke to me is during that time, my staff and I kept getting calls and emails and messages, and they were showing up to market and saying, hey, we saw your video. We're here just to support you. What else can we do? And we're like, just keep placing your orders. And it got us through. It took us a while. We are finally just getting caught up. We're still recovering from that. We went from a debt-free company to about 17 grand of debt in a single month because of all the equipment failures and all the things out of our control. But we are slowly closing that gap, and we're slowly getting back to where we needed to be. But it wouldn't be that way if it hadn't been for my staff and it hadn't been for my clients. My staff is amazing. They are incredible. Yeah. They stuck through the hardest time we've ever been through, and they showed up every single day. And I kid you not, if my staff hadn't shown up, I would have closed.
Yeah.
They showed up when I had nothing to give.
Right.
And so I kept showing up.
Right.
Like I'd walk in one day when I couldn't pay them, and I walked in one day and they were all there.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was my reality check, was like, okay, they're showing up, so I need to show up.
If they believe in me, why can't I believe in me?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just watching them run with the crazy the whole time. They're incredible people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just such, gosh, we could be here for hours talking about that. They're really great.
And we're not, we cried on last week's podcast. Let's not do it this week.
Yeah, I'm trying not to cry this week.
Okay.
Can I just say, though, I respect the vulnerability, because let's be honest, on a business podcast, not many people, they want to talk about, right. They want to talk about, oh, I have this business. Oh, I've done this. I've done, this amount in D2C sales and this and that and the other. No one talks about the prior businesses that they failed at, or the struggles.
I think that's...
So I really respect that.
I thought that's just who I am. It doesn't occur to me not to. Like, I remember the first time I posted the video, I was like, hey guys, here's what's really going on. Yeah. My ovens are failing and I don't know what we're going to do. Yeah. And someone was like, oh, that was so brave. And I'm like, I was just being like, it's just being honest. It's just, that's who I am.
Well, I think that is one of the things that I love the most about Ashley is that, I love a lot of things, but I think that ever since I have known her, she has always been upfront. Like, what you're getting, when you're talking to her, like what, and she's also never been afraid to say, here's where I need help. Here's what I'm doing. Or, hey, I'm taking these steps. Things are not always perfect, but here I am. I know it was a year or two ago where there was some issues with like the cake stuff. I can't remember all of it. And you got on there and you were like, guys, like, this is what it is. Like, take it or leave it. This is what it is. And, she could have done that and lost a ton of clients. Right. But I think for me, I appreciate more when somebody just steps up and says, I made a mistake, or this is what's happening, or I'm struggling, or I need help, or because the biggest thing is in business is you don't know what you don't know. And you can sit here and think, oh, because you don't ever see, if Ashley didn't act that way, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh God, she's got a great business. She doesn't even need me. I'll go somewhere else. Yeah.
Right.
Tommy and I have talked many times how people don't realize that, on the surface, it looks like we're doing this great, big, successful thing, rolling in all this money. And it's like, I know we're barely making it. And it's part of that is because bakery margins are already small. And we've got this terrible economy that we're in right now.
So same thing. So like last year and a half ago, I was looking at we're not growing like we should. And we were tucked away on all four straight. Like, you could not find us. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I was just getting frustrated and like, I am killing myself trying to get this thing going. And everybody's like, oh, you're so successful. Look at all the awards, all the things. And it's just like, but I don't feel that. Yeah. Right. And so it was like kind of a situation of like, well, do we close? Right. Do we seriously look at what that's going to take? Right. Which is a little more complicated because we have to, it is. But I tell you, it's every business owner should face that. And let me tell you what.
100%.
Yep.
So a year and a half later, we've got a director of business development. We have 6 staff in the office, which we've never been that big before. Mm-hmm. And we're just like, the business is growing consistently each week. Yeah. And we would have never seen that if I had just gone, I'm happy sitting here struggling, sitting in this little tiny office that no one knows where we are. Like we took a bold step and went right out across the hospital, things like that. Right. So if you don't take those steps and you don't push outside of your comfort zone, and I don't mean like, oh, I don't like, Swiss cheese on my burger, I only like cheddar. Like, that's not out of your comfort zone. Yeah. I'm talking like, oh my gosh, I'm putting everything up, putting it all, putting it all on the blackjack. I hope I hit 21. And then you got to push for it and kind of take that gamble. And I think every business owner either is going to hit that point or has hit that point. And if you haven't, you better prepare for it.
Correct.
When I took that step, I was like, holy crap, did I take the wrong step? Because, we found my husband was like, sweetheart, love you, but you got to basically got to crap or get off pot kind of thing. And so I was like, all right, fine, we'll take the step to move, because I was letting fear keep me in that itty bitty space that I was in. I was in an 800 square foot space, 400 square foot of it operable. The other one was like lobby, bathroom, utility, that kind of thing. We made the jump to move. We are now in a 4,000 square foot space. We went from 400 to 4,000, which the staff loves, because our back dry storage room is as big as our old space alone. So we're like, this is amazing.
More functionality.
There is so much more functional. But with that came all those problems that we hit in July. And it was like, holy crap, did I make the wrong move? But now I'm watching my staff show up every day. And my customers show up every day.
And you have a whole kids area.
Yeah. And we have, I love that part of our mission. And I love that we have the ability to better serve the mission. And we've partnered with all these different nonprofits who work with us, with our survivors that come through. And we have our core staff, and we have what we call our support staff. Our support staff are the people that we call like, hey, well, we have a little too much work, or hey, so-and-so called out. Can you come in and kind of save us today? So it's inconsistent, but it's there. And there's lots of different abilities and options, and our staff all get to choose their own hours, because that flexibility, life, kids, we need the flexibility.
Being able to move their schedule an hour or two can mean the difference between not being able to work and being able to work. And I would rather have it 2 hours late than not at all.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. If it means that I have to stay a couple hours late that night so they can go take care of themselves. Like I've been telling my staff members a lot lately. I don't know why, but I've been telling them a lot lately. I feel like I've had to hey, take care of you. Because if you aren't taking care of you, you can't take care of your children. You can't do your job. There's so many things that you can't do. Take care of you. Prioritize your health, your physical health, your mental health, your well-being. If you're not doing that, then you're no good to anybody. And we all have responsibilities.
Right. And so I'm going to tell on Tiana a little bit, and hopefully she's not listening this week. If she isn't, then she should be. So either way, I'm not happy, right? But so we were having a Zoom meeting. Her daughter had a fall and had to go to the doctor, things like that. And she had to follow up the next morning. And she was like, I can't leave her. I need to stay home. Great. On the way home from the doctor, pick up your laptop. You can do some work from home. And so we had a scheduled Zoom meeting that afternoon so that we could go through and I could show her some of the reports and how our system works, all that stuff. And just very boring, routine stuff. And then she was sitting there and she goes, yeah, my daughter's sitting here just grinning because I'm able to do this from here and it's not high pressure and all that. And I said, you need to remember that your job title is mom.
Yes.
And then director of business development. And her mom was there, visiting all that. So her mom was crying, she was crying, and the daughter had a grin from ear to ear. And she's like, I never thought I would hear that from an employer. Work is not your main focus. You work so that you can take care of your family, not you put your family to the side so you can work.
Yep. If your kid's sick, then you take the day and you be with your kid. If you've got a doctor's appointment, you take your kid. The kids come first. Your family comes first.
Right.
It's family first.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
The job's not everything. When we leave this world, we don't take our money with us.
Right. I think I used to have that problem where I worked 24/7, and I still
I'm still guilty with that.
I mean,
you used
to some point. Stop it, Mike. I work.
You still do.
Stop it.
No, I'm saying you do.
I get that.
I have tried to put up some boundaries, though. I really have tried to do more where I'm not taking my laptop on vacation, or I'm not taking it home all the time, or things, and I think, one time I had a member call me on a Sunday at 6:00. We were sitting down to dinner, and my husband looked at me and he was like, "Are you serious right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me just talk to her. She's a sponsor, and I justified the situation and walked out. When in all honesty, I should have just either, ignored the call or messaged her and just said, "Hey, I'll call you on Monday." And I didn't. And so, he came in, he was like, "When are you ever going to clock out?"
Yeah.
And that kind of made me think. And I was like, I am clocked out. I'm at home, but I wasn't, was not.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to clock out.
Starting to assess, because I'm getting really, so a couple weeks ago, I don't even know now, a couple weeks ago, maybe I had a small minor medical emergency. I passed out at home. It was fun. Yeah, it was so fun. Not, but but I came to, and the amount of thoughts that came through my head in those 10 seconds before I passed out, like I knew what was happening, so I had time to sit down. Went to the doctor, basically stressed. She's like, you need to chill out. And I was like, do you know what my life is like?
Right.
But that scared me enough to be like, okay, I do have to clock out. I can't be up till 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning and getting back up at 5.
Yeah.
I have to clock
out. It's not
out.
sustainable.
Right. And so it became one of those things like, okay, how do I, so I looked at my staff and I talked to, and one of them got a good promotion this week. And I was like, hey, this is what I need. And so now we have a legitimate hierarchy there. We have a manager who's taking care of everything for me so that I can step back and do what I need to do so that at the end of the day, I can go home and be with my children because my husband's employed right now. So it is just me at home.
Yep.
I need to be there for my children. I can't always work.
I think you hit it too is, there may be people listening and saying, well, I'm just a single mom. I have to work. Yeah, I have 3 kids. Yeah, I have whatever. And to those people, I would say still family first. You know, the money will come. Don't worry. The money will come as long as you're trusting your gut. I say that a lot with my business partners. You got to trust your gut, even if it's small. Sometimes this makes sense right here, but we need to go in this direction. Why? Because this serves our community better. Right. Does it make sense? Not always.
Yeah.
But trust your gut.
Yep.
And also family first.
Yeah.
You know, one of my things is, I've got 6 kids. Is that a lot? Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, it is. I have 4, but
they're involved in my business too. All my kids are under 12, all the way to 6 years old, getting ready to have another one in February.
Wow.
So that's the 6th.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute, so you're having 7?
Yeah, no. But to the point is, my son, he'll come in and he'll do work in the office.
Yeah, my 5-year-old comes in and helps. Now she loves it, but my
involve your kids, right?
To a point.
Yeah, to a point. Yeah, you don't want them doing clinical visits.
Right. Yeah.
See, and that's where,
I may have had someone's child in my office running a laser to make cups, but we won't talk about that on the
yeah. My 12-year-old, that was, I think, my reality check, because that same week that I had passed out at home, my 12-year-old that same week had told, because I told her, I was like, hey, you're going to go to the bakery with me this week. And she's like, Mom, I don't want to. And I was like, okay, but why? She's like, I hate your bakery. And I was like, why, kiddo? And she goes, I have missed out on so much. And that was my wake-up call.
Created a resentment.
Is not fair to her.
Correct.
Right.
And that was like, all right, I need to not manage my business. I've got a fantastic staff that can do that. Yeah. I need to step back and run the business and work on the business, not in the business. And so that's what I'm trying to do in establishing that so that I can be there for my kids, because I'm married, but I'm a single married parent right now. My husband's deployed until September of 25. Yeah. And so it is just me.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning to set those boundaries, to walk out, and I'm not doing it perfectly. I'm far from perfect.
It takes practice.
Yes, it does.
It does.
But a part of it is you're doing it.
Yeah.
And not just, putting your head in the sand saying, oh, I've got to make this work. Oh, I've got to make this work. That's how you get burnt out.
And I need to learn lead by example for my staff.
Yep.
I can't, if I'm saying, hey, prioritize yourself, but then I'm literally killing myself to the point that I'm passing out at home.
Right.
What example is that setting for that?
Yeah.
I'm all about setting these boundaries and I'm preaching all of these things, but I'm not practicing them themselves.
Correct.
So working on setting those boundaries.
So for those people that are listening, what are some ways that people can help to support you, contact you if they need baked goods, or where can they come find you? I know you're at the Forest Farmers Market every Saturday. You know why I know that? Because I go almost every Saturday and I buy either a spinach and feta croissant or a Pop-Tart or the focaccia. Hold on, the train
has
something
one
to say.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It's coming through the wall.
The train is hangry today.
I can fix that.
Right.
So that's where it gets tricky, because a lot of people think that we're just this walk-in shop, and we're not. Because we employ trauma survivors, we are by appointment only. Yeah. And we do keep our door locked. And I will turn you away. If you don't have an appointment, I will give you my business card and tell you where to go to schedule a consult. Just because I do promise my staff, trauma or not, that safety and security. We have our kids there. We need to be safe. So they can do one of two things. If you want treats just to sit down and have a single treat and enjoy, you're going to go to one of our 4 business partners coffee shops we partner with, you can go to White Hart Cafe on Main Street. You can go to the Pink Flamingo Cafe there in Forest, right in the CVABC complex there, or I guess Kroger's complex.
Yeah. We're going to call it the CVABC complex from now on.
Yep.
I call it the CVABC.
Hey, we're right upstairs.
See?
Yeah. That's great.
And then there's Bellevue out in Elon, and there is the big one is Mission House. So, and all three of his locations.
Right.
So the mall, Cornerstone, and I just spaced on the
college.
College, thank you. Yeah, University of Lynchburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the places you can go there. If you want custom cakes or custom pastry, you got to go to our website and click that button that says book your event. Let us know what your inquiry is. And then do not call us to place an order, because our voicemail even tells you to go online, because I have a remote assistant that works out of state that does all of my invoicing and all of my communications for me. And so she handles all of that. And so go to the website, fill out that inquiry form, because that gives us all that initial information that we need that we're going to ask you anyway, regardless of whether you call us or not. And then we'll get back to you with the quotes and stuff. And then if you want just like a sweet treat, you can go to the Forest Farmers Market. And next year we'll be at the Bedford Farmers Market too.
Oh,
nice.
perfect.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah. So we're going to be both of them.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ways.
Oh, how long does the farmers market last through? Do they do it even through the winter?
Yes. So it's every weekend through the end of November. And then there's one a month after that until the spring.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Starts in May.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
So, and we are there, rain or shine.
Yeah.
So I think last year, you want to talk about, business camaraderie. Last year we
the
went.
Boots.
Yeah, see, he knew where I was going. Last year we showed up to one and it was freezing and it was raining and we were there and it was awful. And I jokingly said, we're here, come visit us. I was like, and someone bring me boots and coffee. And Lindsay from Frosted Rich Confections did. She showed up with boots and coffee. Also, love that we were in this. I have a giant foot, so love that we have the same size foot and a cup of coffee. But that just warmed my heart so much. It was so simple, but it was like business supporting business.
And it was another baker.
Yeah, it was a baker. Yeah,
that's what I love about it.
Yeah. So how long have you been part of the Central Virginia Business Coalition?
I knew to ask you that. I don't know. It's been a long time.
It has
4 years.
3.
I don't know. No, 2020. So it's been 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, because I joined back in 2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
I beat you, but only by 1 month, because I joined in 2019. Yeah, 19. Something.
Look at you now.
I'm from the 1900s. So what do you think is the greatest benefit of being part of the CVABC?
Ooh, I used to say networking, but now it's the support.
Yeah.
It is the support. I can't tell you in the last few months how many times it's been other business owners that have come to my aid.
Right.
I'm like, all right, how can we help? I've had business owners show up like, what can I do to help you?
Yeah, I know there was one time you had a lot of leftover
yes,
leftover pastries and things, and you were kind of trying to figure out, how do I move this, because I need this, the income to come in for it. And we were like, post it on we have a members only page, and we were like, post it on there, and you did, and I think you sold out.
Within hours, it sold out. Like everybody came, and it was fantastic. And so we've done that a couple of times. And then I think just last week I was like, hey, I need extra hands, because once again, life was imploding and half my staff was out. And I was like, I need extra hands. And people came in, and we actually found one of our regular staffers through that, because a friend sent another business owner friend sent a friend, and she's phenomenal. Like my staff was like, hey, can we keep her? I'm like, "Guys, she's not a dog, but yes, we can keep her.
Keep her. That's awesome.
Nice.
So, but now she's on staff, and she's
perfect.
A blessing and immediately part of the family.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's wonderful.
Well, thank you both for coming on the show with us today. This has been great. It's been a lot of really good conversation, and hopefully those of you who've been listening in have, heard something today that, may spark you to think about your own business, or how you're doing business, or to just want some pastries, or, all the things. We hope you'll join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for the ribbon cutting at VitaPath. We're really excited about that. But, if you want some more information and you want to contact either of our guests today, they've both given you their info, but you can also find that on
CVABC.org. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thank you all.